Hello people of YouTube, my name is Brad, this is my channel Animate Orange, and this week in 3D metal model news. To start with, I apologize for not having a video ready yesterday. I actually completely forgot what day it was. I'm working 4 days in a row, which is not unusual, but just with the snow and life and everything, and I thought I still had some time before the weekend, and I'm actually working the weekend, so I can't really explain it. I apologize, but here I am today to throw a little bit out there, and honestly, we haven't missed much this past week. There's not a whole lot to talk about. One of the things I want to talk about, kind of briefly, for Star Wars fans, we are still waiting on the other 3 Mandalorian models from Middle-earth. We're still waiting for the Mandalorian, we're still waiting for the IG-11, and we're still waiting on the Razor Crest. And the only reason I bring this up is because an interesting thing happened, and possibly is happening, with Innovatoys, which is very closely tied with Middle-earth. Innovatoys, I want to say earlier this week, I saw a post either on Reddit or Facebook, on one of the Facebook Middle-earth groups, that the other 3 models were no longer on pre-order status, and that it looked like you could just go ahead and order them. And I contacted some other people to, see another store to see if they had any word on getting those other models or what's going on, and they hadn't. I didn't keep close track of it, but I was checking this morning, and what I have seen is those other 3 models are no longer listed on Innovatoys. They're just not even there. Not pre-ordered, nothing. Search for them, nothing. Go to Star Wars, you see the child, that's it. No other Mandalorian models. You search for the Mandalorian, you get the child, that's it. You search for the specific models, nothing. So they've just been completely removed from the website. Also interesting of note, earlier this week, I noticed something else still occurring. You remember the T-800 Terminator model came out and quickly sold out on Innovatoys. That model is still listed in the banner across the top. If you click on the banner, you get a page not found. Nowhere else is the T-800 listed, which has been completely removed, which is, I don't think, unusual for Innovatoys, though I could swear that they used to list them, just listed as sold out. I could be wrong. Either way, those models are completely gone from the website for now. I will say that At Play Toys does have the the T-800, at least they did. And I just double checked, it looks like they still have it in stock. So if you are trying to get the T-800, order it through At Play Toys. If you want to help the channel out, there's a link in the description down below. Use that link to go to their website, and I'll get a little kickback from your order, which will help the channel out. So if you're still looking for the T-800, I know I posted this earlier this week on Facebook or social media, and apparently several people jumped right on it, including me. It's on the way. But yeah, if you're looking for the T-800, At Play Toys has it in stock on their website. So yeah, and they also have the P-38 Lightning if you're looking for that. But I just thought that was kind of weird with the whole Innovatoys thing, where it just kind of popped over where the other Mandalorians were not pre-order, but then they went away, and you still see the T-800 in the banner, but the page not found. So it just may be that the website's a little bit broken and no one's noticed yet, but I thought that was kind of odd. Beyond that, there really isn't anything new to talk about. Looking at Peace School, looking at AliExpress, I'm seeing a lot of the same stuff. Not at all surprised. We're, coming towards the end of February. People have been having their New Year's vacation or New Year's time off, the Chinese New Year. I don't know, when things are going to start getting back to production, but yeah, I'm sure that has a lot to do with why we're not seeing anything right now. So no big surprise, nothing else to talk about, except for one other thing I do want to mention, a suggestion that really stuck out to me. I seen it on a Facebook Middle-earth group earlier this week, and I saved the post because it's like the best suggestion I've seen in quite a while for new models. Someone said, what about the robot from Judge Dredd? That would be really cool. Probably not very likely. I'd actually just recently watched the original Judge Dredd. I'd seen the remake, but I'd never seen the original until about 2 or 3 weeks ago. And I know exactly what robot they're talking about. I'm pretty sure they're talking about, or at least they're talking about from the TV show, or the movie, excuse me. They must be talking about the ABC Warrior, probably the grumpiest looking robot I've ever seen. that face just looks like, what do you want me to destroy? And I'm not going to be happy doing it. But yeah, pretty massive, clunky robot would be pretty cool. I mean, I'd build the model of it. That sounds awesome. And it reminds me, for whatever reason, whenever you see some big red, menacing looking robot, I always think of Maximilian from The Black Hole. That's an old Disney movie if you haven't seen it. Interesting little sci-fi bit. Disney, you know, was like, hey, Star Wars is back in the 70s, late 70s. After Star Wars became an unexpected hit, Disney's like, hey, let's cash in on this space drama thing, and they created The Black Hole, which is kind of an interesting movie, but kind of weird at the same time. If you do decide to watch it, go ahead and zoom right through the opening, because that theme song will just break your mind if you listen to it too long. It is the most unusual and brain-stabbing intro I've ever heard. But the robots are kind of cool. Maximilian is a menacing-looking robot, especially for Disney in the late 70s, early 80s. But pretty neat. I'd build a robot of that. And the two other little floating robots, there was Bob and Vincent. Bob was the older version, and Vincent was the newer one. I used to actually know what Vincent stood for, and I had to look it up. Vital Information Necessary Centralized is what Vincent is short for. And then I just was really fascinated with that kind of floating ball of a robot, to the point where years ago I took a Flash animation course and I actually recreated the shape like a little robot in Flash animation, and had buttons where you could float and pop his head up and down and move him around. And Bob is like the older version. I'm going to have to look Bob up here. And Bob stands for Biosanitation Battalion. Weird. Whatever. A couple of neat flying trash can looking things. And also the, what is it, the Pomeranian? No. Cygnus. Pomeranian, I think, was the one ship, and the Cygnus was the other. Cygnus was a great big ship. That would be a really interesting build as well, and so would the Cygnus. But yeah, I've mentioned those before. I'm rambling on to this point. Just wanted to mention that one model suggestion, and that was Mike Thompson that made that suggestion, and surprisingly no one else commented on it but me under my regular name. Anyway, I'm going to stop at that. Pretty quiet week this past week as far as new models are concerned. Not quiet so much as far as life is concerned. Finally, for the first time in several days, I came home and didn't have to clear or shovel any snow, so that was kind of nice. Getting a lot of snow all over the U.S. The situation in Texas is pretty bad. I'm way north where we're accustomed to the snow, but still, you know, got to keep it cleared off the sidewalks and the driveways so you can actually function. I didn't have to shovel today, so that's fantastic. Anyway, I'm going to leave it at that. As always, thank you for watching. Thank you to my Patreon supporters for continuing to support this channel. Thank you for all your comments and suggestions and interactions. It's appreciated. And I'll see you next week. Maybe we'll have a little bit more to talk about then. As always, keep on keeping on.